Everybody can see my screen okay?
Yep.
Righty. Okay, well, first of all, I want to thank you all for coming to this meeting. I know a lot of people got a day off from the snow, but thank you for at least taking the time to join our meeting. First, we're going to introduce ourselves here at New England Indemnity Company. I'll tell you a little bit about the company and introduce our employees. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about our resources. How will you access our resources online? Again, and we're new, so some of this is in work in progress. So I'll show you where we are right now. Then I'm going to turn it over to Khrystie Parks, who is our director of underwriting, and she is running commercial lines. So she is developing our product, she is building our system, and she's going to know everything. She'll be your underwriter, so she's everything commercial lines. So she'll go through our eligibility, target classes, our hit list, where we've been writing business right now, how to use our system and how we'll handle quoting. She's going to go through billing, claims, what's coming, and then we'll open it up for questions at the end. And the questions, we're just going to remind you there are agencies, all agencies, it's not just one agency here. So if you have specific accounts you want to discuss or one-on-one with Khrystie, just email or call her after the meeting. Otherwise, feel free to put in the chat or even just ask us during this meeting any questions you have. So if you have a question, I'm sure other people do too. So we appreciate when you do have questions. So let's get started. We are a New England Indemnity Company, and I don't know if you all know this, hopefully by now you do, but we are a brand new insurance carrier that just established in 2024. I know we're in 2026, but it takes a minute to build a company from scratch. So we are not a subsidiary of any other carrier. We are literally a brand new insurance carrier starting from scratch with now 8 employees. We are headquartered in Bedford, New Hampshire. We are only licensed in New Hampshire at this time. That's our website. They're NEICinsurance.com. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, you will also access your policy administration system and resources through the link on that website on the upper right-hand corner. It says agent login. We currently are in 14 primary agency codes, 33 total locations in New Hampshire. We sell personal lines and commercial lines, just your general auto, home, umbrella, dwelling, watercraft for personal lines. Commercial lines at this time, we are offering a BOP product. Commercial lines auto is February 1st, an umbrella, and then coming soon an inland marine product, and even more beyond that I'll let Khrystie get to. The company, I mentioned we have 8 people that work for us right now. John Elias is our CEO. He was the previous insurance commissioner a few insurance commissioners ago here for New Hampshire. Michelle Turk is our chief financial officer. Don Funstein is our general counsel. This is our underwriting department. You may recognize some of these faces. Michelle Pizzone is our chief underwriting officer. She is also the personal lines underwriter. Khrystie Parks, as we mentioned, you'll get to talk to her in a second. She is the director of underwriting and all things commercial lines. She's your underwriter. She's everything. Janet Shuey is our customer support specialist. She is also going to be someone you end up talking to a bit. She kind of handles phone calls and general questions and some training she'll be helping out with. And she's also doing some underwriting to help out Khrystie and Michelle. And then last but not least, I am the chief marketing officer, and I will kind of be in and out of your agencies. You'll see me with all the newsletter videos and things like that. If you need anything and you don't know where to go, come to me. I will help you. I'll direct you to the right place. Chris Norton is our vice president of claims, and we do outsource claims to Sedgwick right now, which is great because then we don't have to hire an entire claims department day one. But he is kind of the middleman. He'll oversee any claims settlements, make sure that they're adhering to our policy forms, and he will be the, he and the rest of our team will be the final deciding factor on if there's any discrepancy in how a claim is settled. So while it is outsourced, we have an internal person kind of steering that. Okay, so our resources. When you get your login from us for commercial lines, it's a little bit, it's the same login you're going to get if you're a commercial lines or personal lines producer. And this is where you will land once you log into our system. Currently, this will change as we develop. We will connect more of the commercial lines here, but right now this is pretty much set up for personal lines more fully. down here, I have this X off because this is actually just where you search personal lines. Customers will be here. So Khrystie will explain to you how you're going to handle the commercial line stuff, but I just want to kind of make sure you know this is where your resources are. Right here are these buttons. These are going to take you to our underwriting guidelines. This is what the marketing folder looks like right here. My newsletter, the NEIC News, that big pink folder is where you can find the latest copy of that. Your commercialized coverage brochures, your eligible class list and appetite guide, commission schedules, things like that are all going to be located here in the marketing folder. Agency resources is coming soon. That's a link that I'm going to take you to kind of a landing page where I can share news or anything that I need to with you on that page. And then our policy forms, that will also be like your EFT form, statement of no losses if needed, commercial lines manuals, and just general policy forms will live there. Currently, start a quote is just for personal lines, so you don't really need to use that at this moment, but I want you to know that is where your resources live. You can also reach out to me or Khrystie for any help if you kind of forget where to go or don't understand where things are. Okay, thank you, Eddie, for the heads up. So your user ID, one thing I want to note, it is your first and last name. It's not your email address. So if you're trying to log in and you're using your email address, that's probably the first, people will reach out and say, hey, it's not working. And it's generally because they're using their email address. It is just your first and last name. So if you have any issues with that or have not received a login, please let me know. But I do want to just really quickly, before I turn this over and go straight into commercial lines, I got to plug the newsletter. There's a lot of really good information in that. I know it's my silly thing that I do, but I like to use that as like any updates, any helpful hints on what, how to use our system or how to quote our personal lines or anything that's coming out with commercial lines. It's all in that newsletter. There's some fun stuff too. There's always a trivia drawing and a Pampered Pets drawing, which I may change up a little bit throughout the year, but both of those are true drawings. You have a chance to win every single month, and send me pictures of your pets and I'll put them in a little slideshow and share that with everyone. And they are $50 drawings this year instead of 25. So each drawing will be a $50 Amazon gift card or Pampered Pets, or I'm sorry, Chewy gift card or whatever makes the most sense. So just want to make sure check out your newsletters, email me about the trivia question. Even if you don't know the answer, you can look it up. It's totally fine. Okay, enough about that. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Khrystie, and feel free to type your questions in chat or just ask them out loud if you want to while we're doing this, and we'd be happy to answer them for you. Khrystie, it's all you.
Hi, everybody. I'm really super excited that we are live for commercial lines and that I have a product available for you to sell and write lots of policyholders with us. So right now we're effective with a BOP and umbrella. I am quoting commercial auto, even though that's not effective until 2/1. I'm obviously quoting accounts ahead of the expiration date. So I've been doing that. General BOP, we are on the most recent version. I'm going to close this because I'm seeing stuff out my window and it's distracting me, just plow trucks and stuff. But okay, so we are on the most recent version of the ISO BOP. We are going to be an ISO carrier because I happen to love their product, and it's well known in the industry. So we're doing that. We do have the most current rates and forms and all of that available for you. A lot of carriers go on ISO and then never update their forms or their rates. So, or update to the ISO forms and rates. So we are completely current on that, which is awesome. That means we have all of the coverages that people usually need off of their BOP. We are currently only writing in New Hampshire. I know that lots of contractors will go out of state. We can do the out of state operations on that, or the auto too. We just can't garage vehicles or write property coverage in any other state. So if they do have like an employee payroll for carpentry in Mass, We would include that in the New Hampshire location payroll. So we're still okay doing that. We are not going to be writing work comp for a while, so work comp would need to be split out from the account to begin with. So back to the Bob, we are looking at, we do have a pretty expansive appetite, 6 million in sales per location or 35,000 square feet, 30 million in sales per policy. The office buildings can go up to 100,000 square feet or 6 stories. And the payroll for contractors can go up to 750 with a sub cost of 25% or less. Our capacity for properties, so we look at the size of those accounts, and when you look at the properties, some of those property values are really gonna be higher than the 2 million. So what we did, so we start out with a 2 million of capacity, and then if we have a building up to 5 million, we can send that for a special acceptance for our property treaty without having to get a reinsurance certificate. So we can actually still price those buildings between 2 and 5 really competitively. So we start out with 2 that I can do just by myself. And then 2 to 5, we can send out for some additional pricing. It's not subject to a minimum premium, like a lot of facultative certificates would be subject to like a $2,500 minimum premium. We don't have that. We don't have that because I explained with a property value of 2 to 5 million, I can't charge that much premium for that. So the reinsurers were really nice and let us apply for special acceptances there. That's really great news. We do include building BPP and a load for the business income. ALS at 365 days is standard in the Bob contract. So it's always there. So there's a little bit of a load that we add into the total insured values for that. Professional liability coverages, it's saying up to 300,000. So the one that we have up to 300,000 is the contractor's E&O. Because we're new, we're managing the limits that we're offering on the primary, so it doesn't go into the umbrella yet. But the standard ISO professional liability classes for barbers, for funeral directors, printers, E&O, there's a couple more that I don't know off the top of my head. They follow the policy limits. So we can offer some, the veterinarian one is the other one. So we can write veterinarians, we can write the professional will follow the policy limit. Not available in the umbrella layer, so I would still want to cap that just for now because we're a new carrier to the primary policy. In business, 3 years or otherwise applicable documented experience. I can look at new ventures. I will look at new ventures. I will look at companies, well, that's a new venture. They've previously owned a company and now they're opening a new company. I can look at that. I do want to look at that because a lot of the times they do have the experience to be able to do what they're doing. Might charge a little bit more. That might need a little bit of a surcharge or a debit, but I can absolutely consider it. And it depends on what they're doing. If it's a really risky business that doesn't have 3 years insurance, I might say no to that, but I always want to talk about them. So applicable documented experience, it's going to be like the same or related field. clean loss history, of course, clean loss history. At a 40% account loss ratio is really awesome. We can live with 50%, so I can still look at some things with claims if they have them. So I don't want you to not send it to me, but of course, the most preferable BOP risk is one that has clean loss history. This says roof within 25 years in good to excellent condition. We do want the 4 major updates within the last 25 years. So the effective age of the building should be 25 years. In a perfect world, obviously, the condition of the building can still be an average or better than average condition. It's even if all those updates weren't done. So it depends on the risk. It depends what it looks like. But yes, I would like to stay at the 25-year mark. A lot of the times, like maybe the heating wasn't updated because it doesn't really have to be. So I can look at stuff like that. And then the well-protected and controlled risks. Obviously, I want insureds that are loss risk conscious and understand loss control and risk management, so that the insurance policy isn't just maintenance for their buildings and such. Just standard best case scenario type of account. Does anybody have any questions about any of that? Cool. Next. Thank you, Lori.
Sorry, yeah. I saw Eddie was typing, so I wasn't sure if there was a question.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
okay.
I'm just writing some questions down as I go.
Okay.
Not pertinent to eligibility, though.
Okay. Gotcha.
So target classes. Now, I have a very long BOP eligibility list. This is not the eligibility list. When you go on to your agency resources under marketing, you will see that there's a BOP class eligibility list that is very long. It's a bunch of pages long. They're kind of divided between like market segment with, service or wholesaler, retailer, contractors. But there's a whole lot of classes in there that we want to write. In general, we're generalists. I am interested in discussing potential programs, like if you think there's something we should partner together on at your agency, or one of your agency leaders thinks we should, please have them reach out, or please reach out, because I can start at least gathering information on those types of things, even though we're brand new. But your general BOP stuff, so your retail storefront, your office exposures, lessers risks. I do love my lessers risks. I know Eddie knows that. So I would like to write them. Right now, we're going to keep it to BOP eligible classes. For the lessers risks, because they're tenants. I am also very interested in commercial condo associations. They are owners. So if there happens to be a tenant that's not necessarily BOP eligible, I still want to talk about it because they're owners and we still have a master policy and things like that. So I'd still like to take a look at those. Nothing crazy, still no fireworks manufacturing, anything like that in there, but we can look at the condo associations a little bit differently. Distributors and wholesale, food, no food. I just looked at a hardware distributor, so all kinds of distributors and wholesale. I can't do the cargo yet. We'll talk about that later. With the motor truck cargo and in the marine, when we start entering that and make the in the marine product available. But we do want those. And then contractors, I'm saying these are the most desirable classes because they are literally the easiest to underwrite. They're going to be really competitive. They don't have a whole lot of crazy special coverages that they need. And, you know, they should really just roll on. Those are the very easy classes. So if you're going to target something that will be really super easy and efficient to work, those are the classes. But that's not all I want to write. I mean, we have septic tank installation, we have excavation, I have, you know, all of those, the handy person. So contractors, I really, really love contractors. So, and I think I set us up to write them well. So, this is not an all-inclusive list by any means. Please check out the class eligibility list on our resources page. So we've been hitting with contractors, Commercial Condo Association, just wrote a florist. I'm looking at a really nice landscape supply company. I really, really, really want to write it. And that's got some interesting things. It's got a store with some outside storage and some things that you might not think about a bot for, but Bob is absolutely able to handle things like that. So that's a nice, I'm pretty sure that's a nice 6-figure account that we have in for April 1. So we aren't just looking for the small either. We are set up for middle market business. System and quoting. So most of you will think this is great news. I do all the work. Right now, we don't have a rating platform or a rater for you to be able to quote policies with us, commercial lines policies with us. You would have to complete an application and email it to me and ask for me to provide you with a quote. I'm not the only person doing the quotes. We actually have access to a team of underwriting analysts. So it's like I still have a production unit for us. I can send the applications to them. They'll enter them into the system and return them to me. But there's nothing for you to enter in right now. Now, that being said,
Clarification. Sorry,
what?
Khrystie. You said they have to send an application to you. That is also, you'll take an email with information or deck pages and stuff like that too.
I was just
Okay.
going to get to that. Right. So because some of these are small or because other carriers really are, they do have that rating platform for you and you can go right in there and rate it. I am willing to accept less than applications to get a pricing indication to see if we can play ball on that particular account. So one of your intake sheets from the phone calls, one of your fact-finding sheets, prior deck pages. A lot of the times with the newer contractors, I really just need their location address. And then I can whip up a quick quote because the same thing gets included pretty much in every one of those quotes. So we would need an application on the back end, but that because a $600 policy, it can be kind of hard to do apps up front. I'm willing to try to get you in the door and the coverage and everything done. And then really the only thing you have to do is the app on the back end. So don't hesitate to reach out and just ask for that stuff because I am well known for hanging on the line with you for 2 minutes and getting you the pricing indications. So just keep that in mind. I know it's not the same as being able to have that rater, but we are working on getting a rater so that you, at least for the more simple ones, you would be able to get that pricing indication without having to send me anything. We're going to do that in between getting the policy admin system for commercial lines. I want you to send anything you're working on. So, our property capacity is 2 million. The GL limits that we can bind right now are 1 million, 2 million. We are working on quotes with our reinsurer for the 2.4. And that could really come at any time. So I don't want you to not send the 2.4s. Also, it gives us leverage if we are declining accounts and we can show the premium that we're declining or missing out on because we're not currently offering those limits. So if you're marketing an account, send it in. We're not going to come to you in 3 months and say, oh, your decline ratio is 75%. No. Like, I want to see it and document things. If we're not winning, I should be winning. I want to know why I'm not so that I can update our product and make it better for you so that we can win somewhere. Or so that it's easier for you to remember things that you're selling. That always comes into play too. So, any questions yet? Okay.
I'll just ask mine
Yes.
rather than hitting send. So many contracts require insurance to be placed with a carrier rated A- or better with AM Best. Have you formally been evaluated yet?
We are
I
A
may have missed that.
minus. Yes, actually, we
Awesome.
just got that. We are actually an A minus rating.
Awesome. Great.
Yes. With a
Um,
strong outlook, right, Lori? Or stable, whatever.
Strong,
So,
yeah.
not whatever. That's an important.
very important.
Thank you for saying that, Eddie. I should have put that in my slide.
No worries at all. Next question with the BOP. I know that you mentioned that you're using ISO. What is the owner only payroll?
33.5.
Okay.
But my base rate is lower. So I did try to do a bunch of comparisons before I even started quoting live business, right? And I'm not, our bundle endorsements and the coverages that you're selecting aren't necessarily the same as all of our main competitors. But we have a great start, and the pricing still works out to where we're still about the same or even better priced, regardless of how everything gets priced. The final product is still a competitive price with the rest of the market without credits.
Be jumping the gun on this one. You may have a slide for this, but can Sedgwick look up policyholder information? Like, can they see limits and deductibles when they're on the phone with the client?
I would say yes.
Only
I
curious
send-
because
I
some
send-
companies use SafeLight and they don't have policyholder information, so they can't necessarily see if there's a waiver of windshield deductible or something like that. So it just
I
causes
see.
some little bit of heartburn when using third-party claim services for intake.
That's a
great
really
question.
good point because we have a waiver of deductible on our BAT Plus endorsement for repair or replacement.
See, that's awesome. So
Yes, it
yeah,
is.
it's one of those things. If the claims team isn't able to see that, I've seen in the past where they've collected a deductible on a policy where there's a waiver in place or there's been issues along those lines. So that's why I ask.
Actually, we offer a part collision deductible waiver too.
Awesome.
But yeah, we can get that answer. That's a great question. You can follow up with everybody just to let you know what that answer is.
Perfect. Thank you.
Lori, are you doing that, or do you want me to write that down?
I got you. I got it.
Thank you.
Are you
Just
ready
want
for
to
the
make
next one?
sure it's okay. We have homework. I want to make sure it gets done. So, okay, Eddie, is that it? You muted yourself, so I'm guessing yes.
It is.
Okay, thank you. Great questions. Okay, so billing. Thank goodness most of you just do commercial, because this is going to be different than the personal lines, the way we handle personal lines for a little bit. It's more because I do all of the processing in one system, and then the bills really do go through a separate system that weren't intertwined the way personal lines were just yet. So for billing, the way billing will work for commercial lines is this is linked to your email. It's linked to the policyholder's email, and it's linked to whoever the agency contact person is, usually the person submitting the business from the agency. So, when we issue the policy, both the agency and the insured receive a welcome letter where you can set up an account with Bill It Now. I'm going to share my screen, Lori. Okay. So, oh, geez. Okay, hold on. I got to figure out my mouse. There it is. I have my laptop open, so the numbering of my monitors for the extended displays is making my mouse go on a weird journey to get back to this screen. So anyways, so this is the second screen you'll see after you actually create your account. Both you and the insured will be able to do this. I work here so I can see everybody's stuff. The insured will only be able to see theirs, and their tools will be more limited than this. So they'll have like a view profile, change username and password, pay policy online. You'll also have a more abridged list for your selections too, that will be specific to an agency user. But any account that you write that's linked to your email, you'll be able to access in the account section. If the insured makes a payment to you, did somebody ask a question? No. Okay. If an insured makes a payment to you, we just ask that you log in and make the payment. It's still all direct bill, but right, Lori? We just
Right.
want
We are
them
not
to.
doing agency sweep.
That's
We
it.
have no intention to. So this is kind of our workaround, because we realize that some people do still pay the agencies in person. So we just ask that you go in and make the payment on their behalf.
So you'll be able to view the bill, the schedule. When we issue accounts, we're going to, again, connect the emails. So the email for the account, when we issue these, it should all be on one account bill invoice for you. I am watching that process go through. That's some of a little bit of the work that we're doing that's a little bit different than the other carriers you're working with. We are really watching it on the back end after it gets issued to make sure all of those processes that we put in place are working properly. So I still think it's a really easy system to work in and work around. But if you have any questions, we do have an 800 number, Lori, that 800 number that they use for personal lines, where it's 1 for claims, 2 for this, 3 for underwriting. They can still use that for commercial lines underwriting too. That way they'll be able to get a hold of Janet if I'm not available. But that's where they'll be able to answer billing questions too, if you have any of those. Another thing about issuing a policy, I'm going to stop sharing so Lori can, so I don't forget where I am in the presentation. um, Yeah, okay. The agency will have access to all their accounts associated with their email address. Insured will still receive an invoice when the policy is issued. So they're still going to get a copy of the invoice. They'll still be able to look at the invoice and make a payment with any of those options that are there. Mailing it, online, check, credit card, ACH, annual, biannual, quarterly and monthly are our payment options. I do not require a deposit. So our goal in commercial lines, because we don't do a deposit, is to get a policy issued as soon as possible, because we got to watch the due date on the bills. Just so you know, that is something that oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking in the chat and it's got, oh, you put your questions in there, Eddie. I'm sorry. Are there installment fees? We can do credit card payments. I do believe that there are installment fees, but I don't know the specifics of those.
I know for personal lines, for example, so I imagine it's the same.
Yep, it's all the same.
We only charge an installment fee if they pay by check monthly. So if it's any other pay plan, there isn't one, but there is a credit card. I want to say around 3% fee for credit card. But that's the extent of the fees. Does that help? Great.
I literally just copied personal lines. Like those were corporate things that were already put into place that I didn't change.
Can we move on to the next?
Yes. How to report a claim. Don't have them. Just kidding. Yeah, you can report a claim by using this phone number, by this email, or you and the insured can file a claim online through our website. So there's multiple ways to be able to report a claim. Again, we are using Sedgwick. A little note for contractors and out-of-state operations, we can handle that from a GL perspective. Did I talk about that already? I feel like I already said that in this meeting, but maybe not. It was from this morning. But we can do it. We're not doing the comp anyways, just because we're not going to be looking to write a work comp for a while. And then we included in the New Hampshire payroll. And that should be it. Can't garage vehicles there or list property in any other state yet. Oh, but what's next? So you know that we're working on a rater for the more simple policies so that you can at least get a pricing indication on that. Fast quote is something that we're going to introduce, I think, that has a lot of benefits for the agency side. You'll be able to upload all your applications there to request a quote. You will get an electronic recognition or confirmation that the company actually received your submission, which is something that is really hard for you to get when you email an underwriter. So you're actually going to get immediate confirmation that we've received it. You'll be able to access all of your accounts there. You can't, since we don't have a policy administration system for commercial lines yet, you won't be able to access your policy information that way. So when we bring you Fast Quote, that's how you'll be able to access policy documents and billing. All of the billing will be tied into that for you. So that is really going to be very helpful, and we won't need you to email. If you email applications and quote requests, we're still going to process through it, and we'll make sure that we still take care of the business side of that. But Fast Quote, once we offer you a quote, you'll be able to bind it and issue it without the underwriter, so you'll have control of it over everything once you get that quote. So I really like that for you. Commercial auto is effective 2/1. So I am quoting them because we're obviously quoting future effective dates. So I can still quote those. I just let you know the best of the best for the BAT Plus endorsement is right there on our auto repair or replacement. It doesn't get full glass coverage. We always have to say that because of the safety glass. But yeah. And inland marine 4/1, I really prefer contractors' equipment on an inland marine, just because the rating is more flexible and competitive, I think. Plus, we'll be able to offer some other classes like builder's risk, some of the smaller builder's risks, and I will be looking to do some motor truck cargo and transportation coverages for those distributors that we were talking about earlier. Commercial package, January 27, and commercial lines Maine, January 27. So we're not slowing down. I'm just trying to build more products and offer more products and states for you to be able to write with us.
Eddie had a question in the chat as well.
Okay. All right. So MVR, okay. I don't have anything integrated. I probably shouldn't tell you that, but the underwriting reports that we're going to run, I'm going to run at my desk the way I did for you at the previous carriers that I've worked for. So if we need to run, first of all, Clue won't really apply to commercial lines too much. Carriers say they report their commercial lines to claims, and they really don't. I've done a whole lot of research on that. So Clue really isn't going to apply unless it's a new venture and the prior was a homeowner's, but I'm probably never ever going to ask you for that. So Clue really isn't going to apply for commercial lines. MBRs, I'm going to run them at my desk. Most of the time, I'm probably going to bind subject to MBRs. It depends on the account. I know contractors have those youthfuls, and they just can't help it. So I might do that. I might run those beforehand, but I'll have access to that. Buildings, if we do write something over 2 million, I will run a roof report. Again, that's just a report that I'm going to run. Loss runs, it'll depend on the class. If you control the business and you have loss runs, that would be amazing. Obviously, the more we're writing in terms of capacity, the higher chance will have that I'll want the loss runs. Contractors, it's always a good idea for that. And auto, of course, because I need to experience rate. So the commercial loss runs, yeah, we'll need that for the experience rating more than anything. But the smaller BOPs, an office BOP, no, I obviously have it's my own flexibility because it's my commercial lines department. So I will probably waive loss runs on those smaller policies or the more innocuous office building type things. Oh, cost guides. I will say that if we're going to write a building, I would really appreciate, because I don't have a building evaluation system for commercial lines yet. I would appreciate any valuation that you've done for you to submit that for the value. I'll be able to gauge it per square foot and all that cost per square foot. But if you already have something available, that would be extremely helpful for my file until I can get that available.
Any questions?
Please send me business. Send me the accounts. I talked about the 1-2 limits and 2-4. We're binding the 1-2, but I still want to see accounts with 2-4 because we really might have that quote tomorrow. So I don't want you to hesitate to send those to me either. We're getting a question in chat.
And while we're waiting on that question, I did check with our claims VP. If Sedgwick has the ability to see policyholder coverages when they're taking in a claim, and he says currently they do. And that we notify them of the policy data file every Monday. So they may not have full information on the very newest policies written, but existing policies, they should have access to their coverages. And that will get better as we get our integrations more streamlined. I also, while we're waiting on this question, if you haven't logged into our system yet and you don't know where your email is for your user ID, please let me know. I know, not all the agencies have gotten everybody set up for commercial lines, and that's fine. Just once that happens, if anybody has any issues with logging in, please let me know. I can get you a user ID set up. I don't set them up and you don't set them up. You guys notify me, and then I will send them to the request to our policy admin system, and they actually create the user ID.
I couldn't figure that out earlier. I just found one of my task reminders and I looked for it over and over earlier, and now it's sitting right in front of me. It's wonderful. I'm very excited to write business. Like I really, 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 really want to see submissions. Our underwriting guidelines are also on the
Underwriting guidelines tab.
yes, I keep wanting to say agency resources tab, but it's not that. So I don't want to keep saying that. But the underwriting guidelines for BOP and Umbrella will show you basically all of the good stuff and the no-nos. It'll show you the classes that are eligible for like the contractors, the contractors' requirements if they're using subs, so up to 25% is included in pricing already. I do like that they have a contract in place. They should have a contract in place. If they don't, we can talk about it. It kind of depends on what they're doing. who they're doing it for, all of that stuff. So preferably, yes, a contract should be in place with those requirements that I included in the guidelines. If they don't, let's have a conversation. Maybe they're willing to implement one. Maybe I'm okay without one because it's the same electrician that they've used for the last 30 years and they just don't require a sub for that or a contract for that one. We can talk about those things. But the guidelines are there and they are available for your review. And that also includes all of the eligible classes of business. So
All right, I'm going to walk you through how to find that. First of all, this is our website, neicinsurance.com. Once you land here, then up here in the corner is agent login. It will land you here, and then the credentials we discussed, yours will be your first and last name and then your password. If you forgot, click that and they'll send you a new one. This is what this looks like. Again, this section here is to search personal lines. We're working on changing this and making like one side commercial search and one side personal, but until then, this is where you'll access your guidelines. You just click on that and the underwriting guidelines will be personal lines there, commercial lines are here. You click that and it will just open up. You can download it if you'd like to save it to your computer or something. And then your marketing folder is right here. And again, that newsletter, I try to share all of that in this folder, but your coverage brochures, these are those bundles that Khrystie was talking about. This is what those look like. Those are right in here. What other marketing resources do we have? Again, any training like these videos are going to be posted in the onboarding and training section. We're going to have any training videos in there. Your commission schedule, again, this is the news, the NEIC news. And
can you click on the eligible class list and after?
yes.
Okay, it's 11 pages, but that's a lot of classes of business.
Oops.
Way better than that short little list in the appetite guide. And that's really gonna grow and change based on the business that we do right. So we're all really going to better define that target market together as we grow.
Yep. So again, that's where all of your resources are going to be, and this will develop even more as we move forward and get some more capabilities with commercial lines.
The 800 number that contact us, even though the personal lines underwriting email is there, that phone number and those options are the same for commercial lines.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you all so much for taking the time to meet with us again. This will be recorded and shared so that you can share it with your team or come back to refer to. We'll also be making little training videos like as we develop how to do things, and those will be out there as well. But please reach out with any questions, check your newsletters for more tips and what's coming. And we hope to see lots of business coming our way. Give us a shot.
Yes, please.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Bye.